Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the I Told You Show. Today, we're going to discuss why is saving money now considered bad? Why is saving money now considered bad? Chrissy, what do you think?
That's a good damn question.
I don't get it.
The
I really
stuff
don't get
that
it.
I have seen, Alan, I could cry because I'm laughing so hard when I read it from the other parties on the things that make Elon so bad for saving money
It's
for
crazy.
our government.
It's really crazy. I mean, everybody wants to save money. Oh, the national debt's too high. Oh, the interest on the debt's too high. Oh, we're spending too much money. Well, let's cut some. Oh, no, you can't cut some. Oh.
I think $47,000 for transgender opera in Colombia is a good start. Why are we paying for this? We got the list in front of me. It's $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. What in the hell are we doing?
Insanity is what we're doing.
1.5?
It's insane. We can't keep doing it.
Why are we paying for advanced diversity equality in Serbia? $1.5 million.
Well,
70,000 for
the
DEI musical in Ireland?
the DEI is going away.
Yeah, I know. And everyone's freaking out about that too.
Yeah, well, if you're good enough for the job, you get the job. If you're not good enough for the job, you don't get the job. Just because you used to have a penis and now you don't doesn't mean you should get a job. It's just stupid.
You know, I want a boob job and maybe a couple other plastic surgeries. No one's paying for that shit. I want the government to pay for that instead of my sex change.
Well, yeah, but you're already a woman, so getting the boob job
No, but
doesn't count. You need to be a man and get the boob job, and then you get it.
I know, but why if I want to change the other part, would they cover that, but they won't cover if I wanted to get enhancements to myself? It's a little crazy, don't you think?
It's insanity.
The
whole thing's insanity.
I don't understand the reason or rationale behind it.
There isn't any. You have mentally ill people making up mentally ill departments.
$2 million for sex changes in the LGBT activist community in Guatemala. What the hell?
Well, I guess the people in Guatemala are pretty happy about that.
Millions of dollars in the Wuhan lab. Haven't we learned anything to stay away from that and helping that out at all?
Let's ask Fauci. We should have Fauci in as a guest.
I'm still waiting for Ron to do something to him. I'm still waiting for that local.
Well, Biden pardoned Fauci from any possible criminal actions.
We could still go after him at the state level, you said.
State level.
Yeah, we need to do that.
Federal pardons do not cover state issues. So we still could go after him on the state level.
Can I sue Fauci for what happened to me because of the COVID vaccine that he made me have? I mean, who can you've got to see the stories that I've got now between parents who have children along with adults that are going through this, they're young adults, because of that COVID vaccine, the things that are starting to come out now. Who can they go after?
They can't go after anybody.
Maybe Dan
now
Newland.
They were all protected.
Dan Newland will help us. He had 5 commercials during the football series. He paid for 5 of those bad boys. That's over $40 million during the Super Bowl ad, and he was only one. I was like, "Where's Morgan and Morgan?" I was waiting for that.
Well, he had too much money. He had to get rid of it.
We'll have to call him and see if we have a class action lawsuit.
That's a really good advertising budget he has. We should tap into that.
That's what I said. I tap into it a little bit. Hey, you want to help out with some COVID vaccine side effects?
Yeah. No.
Damn near killed me.
The federal government gave these vaccine makers full immunity. So the only way to pierce the immunity is to prove criminal action or criminal intent, and I think we're getting ready to be able to prove that with the amount of people that are coming down with these issues that they said wouldn't happen.
I don't know. This whole thing is so interesting. I'm sure there's going to be class action lawsuits coming up really shortly because so many people are now coming out about this.
That's what I'm saying. There's enough people now that.
Did you notice when you go to the doctor on the questionnaire now, have you had the COVID vaccine? Yeah. When have you ever started to see that?
Yeah, that's.
I think if you're.
It's because they're concerned that your immune system has been weakened to a point where you can't take some procedures. Obviously, in your case,
I was thinking
it went
that,
to
or
the extreme.
Did your symptoms occur before pre-COVID or not? The vaccine.
Yeah.
I wonder if that'll be a question on the questionnaire very shortly.
Well, it should be. It should be. But, you know, some of the vaccines, they varied. I used to have, and somewhere I have, the vaccines, and this was from a few years ago, but the vaccines with the mortality rate attached to them. And some of them had very high, like all of the same
I think
group.
people should know that.
Well, they should.
Yeah.
But some of them had very high and some of them had very low, depending on the lot. And so what it appears is some of them were placebos and some of them weren't. And it was a giant, we know it was a giant experiment. They admit to that. But I think some
That's
of them,
insane.
Yeah, I'll dig that up and show it to you. I've got it somewhere in my phone, but I got a lot of stuff.
There's so much stuff on there. $1 million to fund tourism in Egypt. Why in the hell are we doing that? $1 million. That could have gone to another million of people
North Carolina.
in North Carolina.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, FEMA, he's going after them.
Oh, well, they just...
About damn time.
The Doge, first off, stop the nonsense about Elon Musk was never an elected official. Of course he wasn't. He was appointed, just like 99% of the people that work in government
Why
are
I think it's
appointed,
good because they're not traditional government puppets, and it's making everybody see they're businessmen. And this is why Americans voted for change. They voted for this.
Yes.
They wanted this.
Not only by the Electoral College, but by the majority.
We were tired of watching everybody string the guy who was incompetent along for so many years and let it get away with it. And now that there's actually change, people are screaming, y'all voted for this.
And suing people for not making a birthday cake for
somebody who's saving us hundreds of $1,000s right now who doesn't. So we don't fund terrorist organizations.
Yeah, well, they discovered just recently FEMA was spending, was it $54 million, I think, for high-end hotel rooms in New York City for illegal immigrants.
That's disgusting. Why aren't they getting the North Carolinians who were affected by the hurricane who still don't have houses?
Is that what they're called, North Carolinians?
I'm making that up. But I lived in North Carolina for a little bit. My family has cabins in North Carolina. It breaks my heart that Asheville, that was very dear to my heart, that place. There's a lot of memories there. There's so much to hear the stories of people that had their kids die underneath them. The one guy that they interviewed said he could feel his scratches, and that's how he knew he stopped breathing, because he stopped feeling his wife and his son. And you've got these stories of this happening, and yet we're giving money to support terrorist groups and all this other stuff instead of helping our community.
Disgusting.
It is disgusting.
It's disgusting.
And they got $750 for losing their house and their family and everything.
They got a loan of $750.
Yeah.
They have to
Meanwhile,
pay it back.
everybody in California that just went through the fires, do you hear what they're getting? They're getting a lot more than that. They're getting a lot more than that.
But those are in the form of grants. They don't have to pay it back. The people in North Carolina, they got a $700 loan, and they have to pay it back.
So what's it going to take for them to get grants?
Oh, I think all of that's ended now that we have an actual administration.
Okay, so you think he's going to change all that soon?
It's just stupid. Of course he will.
I think he should get rid of FEMA altogether and just do something with the government, like figure out an old branch if there's a emergency to deal with, because FEMA, it kind of picks and chooses who they like. It's not
you have to. We got to clean out leadership. The guys, in the field, so to speak, on a lot of these things. Not all of them, because there was some crap in North Carolina with some of the people in the field. But I can tell you, I've dealt with FEMA back in 97.
We all have the hurricanes.
When my house burnt down in the forest fires here in Palm Coast back in 97, and which was a total. I mean, it was gone. There wasn't anything left. And
what section were you in?
F. On Flanders Lane. Oh,
okay. So you're out where it's pretty rural compared to where all the old houses are that were built in like the 60s and 70s.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
But the interesting thing was I forget which school over on Belterre Middle School, maybe. No, not that end.
Indian Trails is the one.
Indian Trails is that. I think it was Wadsworth, actually.
Oh, okay.
I think it was Wadsworth. In the cafeteria of Wadsworth, they had a staging area for all the insurance companies and everything.
Wow.
And so, I went in there with my wife, and we sat down at the table. We had State Farm at the time, and unbeknownst to us, we had full replacement value with cost of living increase, which I don't think you can get that insurance anymore.
No.
But we sat down at the table, and they wrote us to the limit of the policy, and then we would get more checks for the cost of living increases. So we got up from the table, and it was amazing. There was no questions asked. It was Well, there were some questions, but obviously the house burnt down, so it was max of the thing. We stood up from that table, and the table next to it was the FEMA table. And I had never dealt with FEMA before. I really didn't know much about them. The gentleman stands up from the FEMA table, and he said, "Is your insurance company treating you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, amazing. We've had no issue at all." And he said, "Well, are you intending to rebuild?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Have you picked a lot anywhere yet?" Now, mind you, the house burnt down 3 days prior. And I said, "Well, I really haven't had time to shop around."
Yeah, I know, right?
but I'm going to build it back on the same lot because
it's gone anyways.
There's nothing left to worry about. And he said, "Well, we don't solicit mortgages." And I thought for a second. I said, "What's he trying to tell me? He doesn't
that
solicit
is odd.
mortgages." So I said, "Hey, do you do mortgages?" And he said, "Yes, we do, but we can't solicit them." I said, "Good. Well, I'm asking you. You're not asking me." He said, "Yes, we do mortgages." And I said, "All right, I would just like to know how much I can get and how much it'll cost." And he said, "Well, we'll give you the full extent, a loan for the full extent of what the insurance company gave you at 2%.
Whoa.
And I said,
"That's a great deal.
Sign
me up. Yeah.
So we did. So I had, at that time, now we're talking back in 97, I think it was 97 or 98, I had absolutely no problem working with FEMA. Other people at the same time here had horrendous stories working with FEMA.
It's so crazy because it's the same agency.
Everything was the same, but it was different agents.
Oh.
And so it really needs, like everywhere, you got to get rid of the old wood and rebuild. And FEMA's a good thing for our country. We shouldn't be playing around in other countries. FEMA should not be doing illegal immigrant stuff. It's not their job. Their job is to step in when we have emergency situations in our country and help out the people of our country.
Did they clean out all the hotels with the illegals in New York?
That just happened yesterday, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. Because I've been seeing it all over where they're emptying out hotels now finally and arresting these people and sending them on their merry way.
Good. Well, that's what it should be.
Hundreds of thousands of meals that went to Al-Qaeda affiliated fighters in Syria were spending hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I think that, another thing I did. Hurricane Maria hit the Commonwealth of, Puerto Rico. Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico and pretty much wiped it out. But that was the second island it hit. The first place that Hurricane Maria hit was the Commonwealth of Dominica, where I used to live. And we put together a GoFundMe. 95% of all structures were destroyed down on that island. So we put together a GoFundMe to send down some money to some of my friends. I thought maybe if we're lucky, we could raise like $500.
Maria was a few years ago, right?
Yeah. We raised $40,000 in 2 weeks. And,
wow.
And we found a company called Many Hands, Many Meals. And at that time, I don't know what the pricing is now, but at that time, they would come in and you get a bunch of volunteers and you'd pack these meals with rice and freeze-dried vegetables and soy and stuff, and then down there they would boil that and it would become a meal. So one package of the food would feed 4 people. We, with their help, in one weekend, put together 115,000 meals.
Wow.
Now, mind you, there was only about 30,000 people living on the island at the time. So we put together 115,000 meals. We had enough money to put them into a container. We went down to the island with the container and handed all the food out. So we handed 115,000 meals out to people in the Caribbean for $40,000. Now, how much did they spend to give meals to
hundreds of thousands to give to Al-Qaeda affiliate?
Yeah, see,
hundreds of millions of dollars to irrigate farming equipment, canals, fertilizer, poppy cultivation, heroin production in Afghanistan from the Taliban, with the Taliban being involved.
Poppy cultivation is important if you're into heroin and stuff.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And we're supporting this though.
Yeah. Well, not anymore.
No, not anymore. But and it's so crazy because I'm watching, and I'm gonna pull this up on social media. There's this stupid thing out that's sending, what is Elon doing? I'm wondering if he is helping cancer centers. I wonder if he where are all the Elon Musk hospital wings? It says, where are all the Elon Musk educational grants? Where are all the testimony stories of his kind in general? If they go on the internet, that man has donated to several different places. He saved TikTok. He's going to save TikTok. He's going to buy TikTok, by the way. He's going to do all of these great things.
What they're doing, they got to make the guy look bad because the guy's doing good things and the Democrats didn't.
Yeah.
So
they've been giving money to the terrorists, and we're not going to talk about that though. They'll post the stupid crap on their Facebooks and stuff, and not.
You got to try to make the other guy look bad so you can make yourself look good. Even
where's
when you're
his money
worthless.
for cancer? I don't know. Where was Biden's money for cancer?
Biden's.
What did Biden do? Yeah, he didn't even know what day of week it was towards the end.
No, and I feel sorry for him that they put him through that. To be honest with you, but the thing is, I saw on Facebook where somebody said, well, what are they going to do with all this money they saved? Are they going to give it to the people?
It goes back to America.
That money's gone. That money's all gone. It's gone. There isn't getting any of that money back to give it to anybody. But for the future,
save it's going to America.
We're going to save the money. That's the whole point.
It's going to go to the Gulf of America, the rebranding.
The Gulf
Did you
of
see
America,
that?
yes.
It's on my Google map. It says Gulf of America. When Americans pull it up, I absolutely love it. It's genius.
Gulf of, I understand possibly where it got its original name because Texas was Mexico and you got the whole Yucatan Peninsula and everything that was Mexico and everything. So it was right at the time, perhaps, to name it that.
Mexican president's sounding pretty quiet now.
But Texas took it,
got tariff issues going on, a couple different things. She shut up real quick.
There's real issues to deal with.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think it's fun that it's now the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh, yeah, America. I pulled it up on my Google thing today, and I saw you posted something on Facebook about it. I'm like, this is awesome. Yeah. And he went in there. It was a joke, but he got it done, and he's done so many things in just a few days that he's been in office to help.
I think one of the greatest things that he's done is he's blown the mind of all these people that said these things can't be done.
Oh, he did the first term. I'm glad he had the 4 years to get off just because he came in and he does business now.
He learned.
Yeah.
He learned a lot in the last 4 years. And one of the big things that I think he's got going for him now is he can't run again. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So do what you got to do to get things done because you don't have to worry about being elected
and
again.
And keep your office, all the untraditional politics that are on that board now and that are doing things, Secret Service, like all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, this is amazing, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great to sit here and watch it.
It is, and I got nothing against the liberals. They can go do whatever liberals.
No, they're actually giving me content to talk about on my shows now.
That's why we're doing this one.
I know,
because they're all up in arms because we're trying to save money and we're trying to cut the size of government.
Why didn't they care about cancer research back away when President Biden was in office? Like, it's amazing to me.
Well. Why aren't they asking Soros for money for all this stuff? Because Soros is the one that funded all their crap.
It's just like all the illegals that are running around and now they're not. Like, our kids are safer, or we don't have to pay for them anymore. They're not living for free. This is a wonderful thing. I don't know why we're complaining about it as Americans when there's bigger things to take care of, like North Carolina people and what's going on in the fires in California and homeless people that we saw today in the parking lot in Palm Coast, just laying in their cars in a parking lot over there by Winn-Dixie. I feel horrible.
Yeah.
Those are the people we should care about, the veterans, not.
Yeah, the veterans.
Yeah, the illegals that burn people up in the subways and all of this crap. It's just...
Well, you know what? The illegal that burnt the guy up in the or lady up in the subway, he needs to be dealt with harshly.
He was.
But the people that took the videos and stood there,
yeah, that was horrible.
They need to be dealt equally or more harshly.
The thing that pisses me off so much about that is he was already banned from America, and that idiot Biden let him back in under his regime of crap. And that man was allowed to come in with his horrible buddies and do shit like that. Yeah. And no one's talking about that, though, when they're worried about what Elon's doing now.
Yeah.
It's like, y'all needed something to complain about. Complain about that. That was an American, who got burnt on a subway in front of other Americans who sat there and took pictures and video of it and did nothing for her.
And those people should be held equally as liable as the guy that did it, in my opinion.
Imagine if that was your daughter.
Well, they'd all be dead.
I know. Yeah, exactly. But we'll worry about what Elon's doing and shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah, completely stupid.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we had this little quick episode of the I Told You show. Brought it back a little bit.
I love your conservative powwows.
Well, everybody, I hope you have a great day. Thank you for tuning in. And when the next big thing explodes, we'll talk about that too. Have a great day.